Hello everyone, my name is Oktay Alcı, and welcome to this week's presentation where we're going to be talking about Rogers's humanist theory in learning. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we start, let's just look at the outline itself. Before we start, I would like to talk about, just a little bit about, whose theory we are going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about Carl Rogers here. And then after that, we're going to be looking at, the theory itself, the humanist approach that we're going to be looking at. And, after that, we're going to look at how we can, apply humanism and humanist approach in learning by facilitative learning, facilitative. I don't know how to read that properly. But yeah, these are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So let's start with Carl Rogers himself. Carl Rogers was a psychologist and the founder of Humanist and client-centered approach in psychology. He was kind of a big deal in the psychology, in the psychology sort of places, should I say? I don't know. He was a great researcher. He was a great psychologist in the field of psychology. He's widely considered as one of the founding fathers of psychotherapy. So yeah, he was kind of a big deal, should I say. And we're going to be looking at his humanist approach on learning. And, his works are also, kind of seem a bit parallel, going a bit parallel with uh, Abraham Maslow's kind of work too. He also used humanism as a foundation in his work. So yeah, their works kind of go along together. Humanism was developed to contrast cognitivism and behaviorism, which we have talked about in previous presentations done by our many peers. So both Rogers and Maslow, Abraham Maslow, based their works on, humanism. Uh, you know, if we, I don't know if we talked about Maslow, but Maslow, worked on, the hierarchy of needs, and he talked about self-actualization, which we're also going to be talking about right now. So yeah, let's look at the humanist approach itself. What's their, key, what's the key points of, humanism? What's the key points of humanist approach? So we have four of those. So the first one we have here is that people have a natural desire to learn in order to achieve self-actualization. Just as I mentioned before, self-actualization, the term itself comes from Maslow's work of, hierarchy of needs. So according to Maslow, by leveling up through these, stages of hierarchy, you can actually, achieve self-actualization. So humanist approach kind of says that, us people, we have a natural desire to, gain this self-actualization. So this is the first key point in, humanist approach. And the second key point we have here is that it is not the outcome that is the most important part of education, but it is the process of learning itself. So what this basically means is that, it's not really that much important what you're learning, but what's important is that, the journey that you're having whilst you're learning. So that's the second key part of humanism. And the third part we have here is that the students themselves should be in control of their learning, and it should be achieved through observing and exploring. So this is basically, learning by doing some things, learning by, not just from the books, but, experiencing things. So students should be in control of their own learning processes. So yeah, they're just giving the control to students. So if the control is at the students, what's the teacher's job here is that the teacher in the learning process is an encouraging role model. The teacher should motivate, should guide and support students on their own personal journeys of, learning. So the control is in the students' hands, and the teachers are just, they're just guides. They're just, showing the students and motivating them what they can do and what can do, what they can't do. Sorry. Uh, so yeah, these are the four main key points of humanist approach here. So how we can, apply this humanist approach in actual learning itself? So Rogers thinks that, a teacher should be a facilitator of learning rather than just, a conveyor of knowledge. So a teacher shouldn't just come up to the class and give just, basically just vomit all of the information that they have to the students and then just leave. So Rogers thinks that a teacher should just facilitate learning. It should be a facilitator of learning, and they should just build some relationships between students. Build some positive relationships and just guide them, not just give them a bunch of knowledge. So, in order to become a great teacher, a good teacher, Rogers thinks that, a teacher should have three, core characteristics. So if you have these characteristics, according to Rogers himself, you are a good teacher. So let's look at these, three different core characteristics provided to us by, Rogers himself. So the first one we have here is realness. A teacher should be, themselves. Them being real is just, them showing their personality whilst they're trying to, teach these kids. You know, when a teacher becomes real, shows their real side, you know, then a teacher can, build a trust, a relationship of trust between, themselves and students. So, according to Rogers, a teacher should be just able to convey their feelings to their students rather than just being a monochromatic robot. Not just come into the class, give the lecture and go, but just, be themselves, be real. And the second one is prizing, accepting, and trusting. So a teacher should be, able to care about their students and accept their feelings, regardless of whether they assist or detract from learning. So basically, a good teacher should be inclusive about, anything that their students might feel throughout their learning journeys. So a good teacher should be able to accept and trust, their students, and by having this kind of trust-based relationship, they're going to have a deeper relationship that has a deeper meaning in like trust and respect. So, just being inclusive and being accepted is just one way to build up some good relationships between you and your students. And the third one, which everyone should have, not just teachers, is empathy. And as we all know, empathy is understanding the other person's feelings. And in this case, it's understanding the student's perception of learning and their feelings. So yeah, in order to apply humanist approach, you should be able to have these three core characteristics in you. And yeah, according to Rogers, if you have these, you can teach your students in a humanist way and just guide them through their learning journeys. So yeah, this was it for this week. So I hope I can see you in the upcoming week. So see you later until then, and bye.